What if the internet disappeared tomorrow? Imagine this. Tomorrow morning, your alarm goes off at exactly 7 o'clock. Without even thinking, you reach for your phone. Just one quick scroll, that's all. But Instagram doesn't load. YouTube won't open. WhatsApp simply says, connecting. Pause for a second. Maybe it's the Wi-Fi. You check the router. Every light is green, so you switch to mobile data. Still nothing. No signal, no internet. At first, you're not too concerned. Networks go down sometimes, right? You make a cup of coffee and wait a few minutes. Still nothing. You open Google, blank. You try another app, nothing. Then another, still nothing. That's when you look outside. People are standing in the street, staring at their phones. Everyone is confused. Nobody seems to know what's happening. Within 15 minutes, millions of people around the world are doing exactly the same thing. Refreshing, restarting, and waiting. Some blame their internet provider. Others think it's a cyber attack. But almost nobody imagines the real possibility. What if the internet didn't just go offline? What if it simply disappeared? Not slowed down, not blocked, not hacked, gone. Every satellite connection, every undersea cable, every website, every cloud service, every search engine, every email, every banking network, everything gone. For the first time in decades, humanity is completely disconnected, and nobody knows what happens next. At first, it feels like a temporary inconvenience, but as the hours pass, governments hold emergency meetings, businesses stop functioning, and entire economies begin to slow. Because the internet was never just something we used. It quietly became the invisible system connecting almost every part of modern life. So what would really happen if one day it all disappeared? Let's find out. Hour 1. At exactly 8:07 a.m., something unusual begins to happen. The first news stations lose contact with their reporters in the field. Not because the cameras stopped working, but because there was nowhere left to send the footage. Thousands of miles away, an office worker opens his banking app. Connection failed. He barely thinks about it, probably scheduled maintenance. A teenager refreshes TikTok. Nothing. A pilot preparing for takeoff notices something far more concerning. The flight planning system can't retrieve the latest weather updates. Air traffic controllers quietly switch to backup radio systems. No one says the word catastrophe, not yet. Inside Google's headquarters, engineers stare at hundreds of monitors. Every graph has fallen to zero. At Meta, everything is silent. Amazon's cloud services, silent. Microsoft, silent. Across the world, millions of servers are still running. Their lights are blinking. Their fans are spinning. But they're talking to no one. It's like billions of telephones ringing with nobody on the other end. Then, hospitals begin noticing something even more serious. Patient records can't be reached. Doctors can still treat patients, but allergies, medical histories, and test results are suddenly out of reach. Nurses hurry through the hallways carrying paper files that haven't been used in years. Simple decisions now take precious extra minutes, and sometimes minutes are all a patient has. Across the city, delivery drivers begin pulling over. Their GPS has vanished. Navigation apps no longer work. Some drivers remember the streets, most don't. Traffic slowly begins to grind to a halt. People keep checking their phones again and again, hoping the next refresh will somehow bring everything back. It never does. Then, the financial markets prepare to open, or at least they try to. Modern stock exchanges depend on millions of digital connections every second. Without those connections, buying and selling simply can't happen. Trading is suspended. Billions of dollars become trapped inside frozen systems. For a moment, nobody is completely sure who owns what. Banks stop processing online payments. Credit card terminals flash error messages. A customer stands at the checkout with a basket of groceries. He taps his card. Declined. He tries again. Still nothing. The cashier apologizes. Digital payments are no longer working. Behind him, another customer quietly puts half of their groceries back on the shelf. Not because they don't want them, because they don't have cash. And neither does almost anyone else. By 9 a.m., the internet has been gone for exactly 1 hour. People stop asking, when will it come back? Instead, a much bigger question begins to spread. What if it doesn't? By noon, the excuses begin to disappear. This isn't your internet provider. It isn't a software update. It isn't a cyber attack targeting one country. It's happening everywhere. Every continent, every city, every village. The internet is gone and no one knows why. Within hours, governments activate emergency response centers. Military communication networks switch to offline protocols. Emergency radio stations begin broadcasting for the first time in decades. Television channels interrupt every program. One message repeats over and over: remain calm, stay where you are. Further information will follow. But telling billions of people to remain calm doesn't make them calm. It makes them wonder what you're not telling them. Across the world, supermarkets suddenly become crowded. At first, people buy a little extra food, just in case. Then someone fills an entire shopping cart with bottled water. Another person sees it and does the same. Within minutes, logic disappears. Panic spreads faster than any virus ever could. Shelves begin to empty. Rice, bread, medicine, baby formula, batteries, anything that might help people survive. Cashiers work as fast as they can, but every few minutes, another payment terminal crashes. Digital wallets are useless. Bank apps no longer exist. Credit cards can't contact the banks that verify them. If you don't have cash, you might not be buying anything today. Outside, ATMs attract lines hundreds of people long. Some machines stop working within minutes. Others run out of cash before sunset. People who believed their savings were safe suddenly realize something terrifying. Most of their money only existed as numbers on a screen. Meanwhile, at airports around the world, departure boards freeze. Flights are delayed, then canceled. Modern aviation depends on constant digital communication, weather updates, flight plans, maintenance records, crew scheduling. Without the internet, the safest decision is to keep thousands of aircraft on the ground. Hundreds of thousands of travelers are stranded. Some sleep on airport floors. Others desperately search for a way home, but there isn't one. As night falls, cities begin to feel different. Restaurants close early. Many businesses simply lock their doors. Not because they've run out of customers, but because they can no longer process orders, deliveries, or payments. Parents finally reach home. Children ask the same question: when will the Wi-Fi come back? For the first time, the adults don't have an answer. By midnight, the silence feels strange. No notification sounds, no endless scrolling, no late-night videos, no online games. The digital world that connected 8 billion people has vanished. Outside, the streets are unusually quiet. Inside millions of homes, families sit together without screens between them. Some talk, some play cards, some simply stare into the silence, waiting, hoping for a connection that never returns. And somewhere, deep inside secure government bunkers, experts begin considering a possibility they've never had to consider before. What if this isn't temporary? What if the internet is gone forever? 1 year later, the world is still standing, cities still exist, children still laugh, the sun still rises every morning. Humanity survived, but it didn't survive unchanged. The internet was never just websites or social media or online shopping. It was the invisible thread holding together almost every part of modern civilization. When it disappeared, we didn't just lose information. We lost trust, we lost speed, we lost convenience, and for a while, we almost lost each other. Then something unexpected happened. Neighborhoods started talking again. Libraries became full. Paper maps returned. Local businesses knew their customers by name. Parents looked up from their phones. Children played outside without waiting for a notification. The world became slower. But maybe it became a little more human. History has taught us something remarkable. Every civilization believes its greatest invention is permanent. The Romans believed their empire would last forever. The Egyptians believed their monuments would never fade. The great kingdoms of history all believed they had built something eternal. None of them did. Maybe, one day, people will look back at the internet the same way we look back at the Roman roads, a revolutionary invention that shaped the world before becoming history. Because technology doesn't define civilization. People do. The internet connected 8 billion humans. But long before the first computer, before satellites, before fiber optic cables, before electricity, humanity still found a way to survive. And if tomorrow every screen went black, every server fell silent, and every connection disappeared, the greatest network on Earth would still remain, not made of cables or signals or machines, but of people. Because in the end, The internet was only ever our greatest tool. It was never our greatest strength. Our greatest strength has always been each other. Fade to black.